Yo, what up? Welcome to I'm Not a Gentleman, the show designed to help you look stylish without following trends. I'm your host, Vladimir Riché from ChaseandRider.com and your favorite menswear YouTuber's favorite menswear YouTuber. I've helped dozens of clients and hundreds of students and viewers feel more confident by looking their best and always making a great first impression. Today's guest is my man Jacques from New Jersey, and he's just in the process of building his wardrobe. So I'm very excited to have this conversation. Yo, Jacques, what's good, man?
What's going on?
I'm good, man. This is a very special episode of the Wardrobe Audit. I got my new friend Jacques, and by the name, I automatically knew he might be one of my countrymen. So I was very happy to see that, we're repping Haiti hard on this episode, man. What's good, man? How's everything going?
Everything's going great, man. Can't complain. Yourself?
I can't complain either, man. The year is starting off strong. So the wardrobe audit episodes have been getting a lot of love. So I think that is a really good thing for people to see how I usually work with my clients one on one to get a view of that, because people don't usually see those things when they see me on Instagram or they see me on YouTube or listen to the podcast. So I
hmm
think that's really dope. Where exactly are you?
I live in Jersey right
Okay.
now. Mhm.
Shout out Jersey. I'm in New York, so we're not too far from each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just want to set a goal for this episode. Let's say 6 months from now, we get to talk again, and everything is going great for you, and you have the perfect wardrobe. Can you paint that picture for me?
Um, I would yes, because I wanted a few suits,
Mm-hmm.
casual attires. Um, yeah, I think that's really what I want.
Got
Just
it.
a way to bring everything together.
Okay.
So in 6 months, that'll be the perfect goal, just to have everything set up the way that
Oh,
I want, the way I'm envisioning it right now. Yeah.
got it. Got it. And we spoke a little bit before we started the call. You mentioned that you're a nurse, so you don't really wear a suit for work or anything. How often are you in tailored clothing? Would you say?
Um. Special occasions, like
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going out, that's probably like twice, 3 times a month.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. Usually. Most of the time, when I'm not at work, when I don't have scrubs on, I'm probably just casual, business casual, like chinos
Yeah.
and shirt,
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Okay. Okay. So, what do you think is standing in your way of accomplishing your perfect wardrobe?
Um, well, I'm developing a style, but my main issue is I really don't know like the type of clothes that I want, or where the best place to get them, because
Mm,
I see what I want, but I don't really see them in any stores that I usually would go to.
yes.
So I think that's my main problem, I would say. Um, and I really don't have the time to really go and you know spend the time to really go and I really need your help just to guide me to where the best place is. I was like, to tell you what I want, and then you tell me, okay, go to that store or go to that particular tailor, and then they'll give you what you need.
Sure.
You know, that's the guidance that I mostly need from you.
Yeah, definitely. That is an issue with a lot of men where time is usually a big factor. They don't really have the time to really shop around and look for stuff. But most of the time, it's not even really their fault because living in America, it's not really there aren't really that many great stores that you can go to get some really nice stuff. I mean, I'm fortunate to live in New York, so I do have access to some of the stores. But even then, most of the stuff that I buy are online. I don't usually, for the most part, buy stuff in stores.
hmm
I developed a list of stores that I use, and most of them are online. Although sometimes I do meet up with clients and we do go to stores in New York, but you really don't need to. So that's the positive of it. So even though, like I said, there aren't that many good stores, but at the end of the day, you may not even need that. Things can be done online nowadays pretty easily. Not
Okay.
easily, but it's trial and error, but it's definitely doable because I've done it.
Hmm.
Yeah. You mentioned suits is what you looking to really solve. What about shirts, ties, shoes, and those type of things? How are you in that category, or in those categories, I should say?
Um, Shirts. I found a few stores that actually can help me with the can help me with that. But me, actually, I want a few custom made shoes, so I really don't know the best place to get those.
Yeah.
Um, it was yeah, my feet is kind of weird at where
Mm-hmm.
I wear 12 and a half and it's comfortable in one and
Mm-hmm.
it's not comfortable in the other in the other
Oh,
foot. So
got you.
I figured like some custom shoes, like it's very difficult for me to get the style of shoes that I want on off the rack.
Yes.
Like I would have to get like a size larger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I think the same with the ties, ties and cufflinks. I'm still looking into a place where I can get some good, French shirts and ties and cufflinks. Yeah.
Got you. Got you. So, let's start with the shoes because that sounds like that's an issue that not issue, but that's a situation that's probably harder to solve than the others. So we can start there, and then we can talk a little bit about the suit situation as well. When you said you wear a size 12 and a half, are you referring to US sizing?
U.S. size, yes.
Hmm. Okay, so you are 11 and a half UK. Now, the 12 and a half part, would that be the size that fits comfortably on
On
both
both,
feet?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's good to know. And what style of shoes do you typically go for? Or is that something that
Um,
you're looking to explore also?
I like slip-ons and tassel. Yeah, the type
Hmm.
of shoes that I like.
Okay. Okay. So you like more
Dress
maybe like
shoes.
dress shoes but without laces?
Without laces, some with laces too. I don't mind, depending on the occasion. But I mostly wear without laces because it's casual. It's
Yeah.
casual. But I have, well, not anymore because they don't fit anymore. Because I had two pairs of very formal shoes, wings and tips, and
Hmm. A wingtip? Hmm.
yeah, that's what I had.
Yeah. Got it. Got it. Okay. So what I would recommend, like, well, you mentioned it yourself, would definitely be something custom because when it comes to your shoes, this is something that you are going to be in for the duration of the day. So your
Hmm.
shoes should always feel comfortable. And it's by comfortable, I mean both of them should be very comfortable. So because right now, from what I'm gathering, is for your shoes to fit you nicely, one of them is going to be too big because you have to get one. You have to get a bigger size that's going to accommodate the foot
Yeah.
that's a little bit wider or bigger. And
Hmm.
that's not uncommon, by the way. A lot of guys do have variations when it comes to their shoe size or their feet size, I should say. So that's definitely not uncommon. Uh,
Cool.
what what budget do you have in mind for? Let's say you wanted to get your first pair of custom shoes, because I always recommend that you start with one first, because it's one thing with custom, whether it's shoes, whether it's suits, the first one is never going to be perfect. It's always a work in progress. No matter how much you pay, you always have to keep that in mind that it's never going to be perfect. It's a it's a marathon, definitely not a sprint. And when you get your first one, even if you do like a trial shoe, the first one is still not going to be perfect, and then they're going to make modification to that first one in order for you to get in order for them to get better at making you the second and third pair eventually. So what budget would you say you have in mind for something like that? Your first pair?
Um, I was looking at a website, but um, I found this custom made page on Instagram, and I
Mhm.
think it was between 500 to 700 custom
Mhm.
made shoes that were there. So I think my budget was probably around that too.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So one thing with custom shoes, there are two different kind of programs, right? So the first one is going to be you might be on a website and you see a pair of shoes that you like, but you would rather it in a different color than what they have readily available.
Hmm.
So in that case, you can definitely tell them, I want this size, but I want it in this color. I want this style in this color and this size. And something like that shouldn't be that much different from whatever amount they're selling it off the rack for. There will be an
Hmm.
upcharge because they're making it just for you, but they're not really doing any kind of modifications. They're just really just making it in a different color or something like that, you know? Versus when you trying to get a pair of shoes made that are going to be one in each size, is going to be different because now they're going to need you to take measurements of each foot and also trace them, send them pictures so they can see exactly what they're going to be working with. But because obviously it's going to be more details than just getting a
Hmm.
different color or a different last or something like that, so they have to make it specifically just for you. In my experience, that's probably going to run you a little bit more than 500. I'd say probably between 700 and 1,000 would probably be in the price range that you're going to be.
Okay.
And let's say you want to do a trial shoe, which is something that I would recommend, then that might add like an extra $100 or $200 to the price because that way they'll ship you something, a shoe that's they're going to make it for you and ship it to you. That way you can try it on. It's not the final shoe. Then you're going to give them some feedback on that, and then they'll be able to then finalize the official shoe for you. The good news is I do have a couple brands in mind that I think that I'll be able to help you with,
All
and
right.
we can definitely talk about that. But that's what I would recommend as far as the process itself. Now, as far as the style of shoe, since this will be something that you're probably paying more for than anything else that you have as far as shoes in your closet, I'm imagining.
Yeah. The I would say the average of it's about two 50.
Got it, got it. Yeah, which is good because nowadays we're definitely in the golden age when it comes to shoes. There are so many brands making really quality shoes starting around that price point. Actually, I just made a video like a month ago. What's an update of an old video where I'm talking
Hmm.
about the best shoe brands under $300. So there are a lot of options there still, and even in that video, I missed a couple brands. So it's not a bad place to start. But I would say if you are going to be exceeding that price point, especially exceeding 500, 600, I would definitely recommend that you get something that's going to be able to be worn in some versatile situations. That way, you know that this shoe is going to serve you, and you're going to get the best out of the shoe. So that's something that we have to figure out. Because I know you mentioned loafers, and you also mentioned lace ups as well. So that's where I would go next. Is what type of shoe do you think you'd be leaning towards, and also what color? Because black is
Um,
something that people always need because there are a lot of occasions that you can only wear black shoes to. But at the same time, black is not the most versatile because well, it's the most versatile as far as color. It goes with every suit color. But it's not the most versatile as far as situations because it's such a serious color. So I do recommend black as a shoe that everyone must have. But at the same time, dark brown is another color that I really recommend as well because it's going to be able to also be formal, just not as formal as black. You see what I'm
mhm.
saying? So, but it's going to serve you better in a sense because you'll be able to wear it to a lot of different events with you'll also be able to wear it with every suit color just like you can with black, except a black suit. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's where I would lean towards for the first shoe, either black or a dark brown. That's a decision I think that you should make depending on where you see yourself wearing this shoe.
I think dark brown.
Dark brown, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so now as for our style, what I would recommend is something probably either a punch cap toe or a plain cap toe. So the difference is the shoe is going to be pretty plain for the most part,
Mm-hmm.
except if you do the punch cap toe along the toe line, there are going to be holes, which is what we call broguing, right? So that's one style, and then but because of the broguing, even though it's very minimal broguing, it does turn down the formality just a little bit because the
Mm-hmm.
less broguing a shoe has, the more formal the shoe is. So
Mm.
you can also do a plain brown, which is uh, just like a plain shoe minus any broguing. So that shoe is going to be a little bit more formal. Although the punch cap to itself is still pretty formal, it's just slightly less formal because of the broguing along the cap. So as the first shoe, I don't think you can go wrong with either. But just know that one of them is going to be slightly, very slightly more formal than the other.
Okay.
You know. Because when it comes to black shoes, I do recommend black shoes should be either a plain cap toe or a hole cut, because the hole cut is going to be number one in formality, and then the plain cap toe is like right behind it. So if you are eventually going to get a pair of black shoes down the line, then I would reserve the plain cap toe or hole cut for the black shoe, but for the dark brown, I would probably do either a plain also, but I would probably lean more towards a punch cap tool for that. But you can't go wrong with either. I have both, and I love them both. So,
Okay.
all right. So that's what I would say for shoes. What do you think you're leaning towards there, like the punch cap toe? And once again, those things that I'm telling you, most people won't notice them. You know what I'm saying? It's really going to be you that's going to notice. This one has a punch cap, and the other one doesn't have the punch along the cap. So it's not really a huge difference, to be honest with you. The color makes more of a difference than the style between those two.
Mm, that's true.
Yep. So that's what I would recommend, and I can definitely set you up. Once again, we'll look at prices, we'll look at turnaround time, we'll look at exactly how these brands work to
Mm-hmm.
see which one will work best for you.
Okay.
One brand that I have in mind is uh, Kunan Perel. That's one brand that can definitely accommodate that.
Okay.
And I've done an unboxing of their shoes probably 4 months ago, and that's one brand that I would recommend. And I have a couple other brands in mind as well.
Okay.
Is there a turnaround for you to get these things done, or pretty much when they're done, or do you have something coming up where you would love to have the shoe made by that time?
Um, I have something coming up in May.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
about 4 months.
Hmm.
Okay, all right. So that's a good That's a good I think that's a good, amount of time to get something done. Of course, we still have to talk to the brands to see exactly what they have in their pipeline.
Yeah.
4 months is a realistic goal, I think.
Hmm.
Alright, so now we covered the shoes, so let's talk about suits for a second. So, in that event that you have coming up in May, I'm assuming you have to wear a suit to that event?
Yes.
Okay, and what are you thinking about suits for that? Like, what color speaks to you for something like that? Like, what kind of event is it?
It's a birthday, but they have a dress code, I should say.
Okay,
It's
okay,
black and gold. So
okay. So you're going to be wearing a black suit, you think?
the I think that's what I was going for. Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you're going to go with a black suit, I wouldn't recommend the brown shoes for that. Simply because black suit is the only suit color really that only takes black shoes.
Mm.
So that's just something to consider there. But at the same time, you do have to abide by the dress code. So I wouldn't wear a different color suit if the invitation is calling for black and gold. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just something to consider. Maybe a black shoe then would probably be best as the first shoe. It's not something that I'm against. Actually, I do recommend black shoes a lot because once again, it's essential. So some events only call for that. So, but that's something that we can decide later. But just something to keep
Okay.
in mind
I
because
also I have a question.
Mhm.
So, um, I'm guessing once the trial shoes is done, they'll have the specific, measurements. So we need to take less time for them to make you another shoe.
No, so
So,
the first shoe is always going to take the longest.
yeah, I'm saying right
Yeah,
after the first shoe, once
yeah.
everything is so. Let's just say it takes a month to make the trial shoe.
Mhm.
So the other one might be 2 or 3 weeks. So
It's actually very realistic to be able to get 2 made, by that
yeah,
time,
that's what I
and
was thinking.
yeah, 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 because if you do that, at least you'll know that the first one fits, and then it'll be easier for them to then do the second shoe because you won't have to go through the trial, process again.
Mhm.
So that's a good idea actually. It's just that the
Yeah.
4 months, it just depends on their pipeline, so that's what we have to figure out.
Okay.
Alright? Uh, now let's talk about suits for a second. You mentioned this event, and my idea when it comes to black suits is I know a lot of guys love black suits, and I just don't feel like they're necessary. But I feel like if it's something that you like, then you should have it. So, for example, myself, I have about let's say I have about 10 suits. I don't have a black suit, but I do want a black suit now. Not because I need one, but because I want one. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's not something that I feel like people should start with because I feel like there are better colors that are going to be more versatile. But at the same time, you might want one because you like it. You see what I'm saying? So in your case, you're going to be attending a party that calls for that, and you probably want to wear something really nice to that. I'm assuming. So it
Yes.
wouldn't be a bad idea for you to start with a black suit, and
Yeah.
then same thing with the shoes. You can always get other colors after that, But this is something that we have an event coming up where we actually planning for that event. Therefore, it's a little bit different than let's say just building a wardrobe for the sake of building a wardrobe.
Yes.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. What budget do you have for a suit? Would you say
Custom suit?
custom is not a bad idea for your first suit? It doesn't have to be, but
Ah,
it's not a bad idea for your first suit because the reason why I'm saying that when you get a custom suit first, then if you have to go off the rack after that, one thing that you can do is measure the custom suit, and then you can base the measurement of the rack suit easier because now you have a custom suit that fits you pretty well. So when you go to a website and you see an off the rack suit, most of them should have measurements on there to where you measure your current garment and compare it to their measurements. So having a custom suit to start will give you a really good blueprint going forward.
yeah. I mean, off the rack, um, whenever I go to Express, I try on the suit, always perfect fit, but
Hmm.
the style or what I really want is usually not the best.
Yeah.
I think their measurement is very accurate for me,
Hmm.
but I haven't really found like better a place that specializes in suits that
Sure.
where I can just get something off the rack and then try it out. I really don't know. Um,
Yeah. One company I would recommend because one thing that I definitely always advise is you want to get something that's going to be timeless. That way, even if it's 10 years from now, you can still wear the same suit. Nobody will be able to tell, well, that suit is from 2024. You see what
mhm,
I'm saying? So
mhm.
we definitely don't want to do that. We just want to be able to stick to something where the aesthetic is also always going to be timeless. What I would recommend for something like that, especially you living in New Jersey, is a store like Suit Supply. I don't know if you're familiar with Suit Supply.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I would recommend them. So they do have suits starting probably around $400 off the rack, and then I don't know what just happened there. Sorry, it was my other screen that just shut off. Let me turn it off so that doesn't happen again. 1 second. Yeah, so they do have suits starting around $400 off the rack, but at
Hmm.
the same time, their custom program to me is where they really shine. And I want to say the custom program probably start around 800-900 or something like that.
Hmm.
So that's what I would recommend because you're going to have a suit that's going to be able to last you the rest of your life. And
Oh,
once again, it's going to make it easier to get other suits going forward because now you have a blueprint suit that you can base everything else after.
okay.
So that's what I would recommend. The stores are in New York City. They have stores. I don't think they have a store in New Jersey, but they have three stores, I believe, in Manhattan. And
Oh, okay.
I do have connections at those stores as far as clothiers who work there that I work with personally. So if I can't go there, because typically everything that I do is virtual, unless a client really wants to meet with me one on one in person, then we can do that. But if it's one of those cases where we don't have to meet, then I know exactly who to send you to set an appointment to make that happen for you. So
Okay. Cool.
all right, so we can definitely do that. How do you feel about what we spoke about so far? What do you think is the biggest takeaway?
That I made the right choice to reach out to you.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, because you can definitely help me with everything that I really need. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm glad to hear it. And the whole idea is to take your menswear to another level, right? And that's why you reached out, and that's why I hope that I was able to accomplish. The thing with suits and menswear, it does take a while. So a 20-minute call is not going to solve every problem that you have, obviously, but it's a pretty good start, and then we can definitely see how that goes.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, man. So I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad that I was able to help you. And we'll stay in contact so we can see how things are going, and we'll take it from there. Like I said, I have a couple ideas for you, so
Hmm.
we'll definitely work on those.